Is finance a function that is stuck in time while the rest of the company is modernizing and digitalizing? Or is finance a hidden gem that is constantly innovating but is not really coming to the forefront and sharing those innovations and the finance way of thinking with the rest of the organization? Let's close the loop on this one. Joining me on Close the Loop is Jaipal, who is the CFO of ID Fresh. Jaipal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Srini. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
I'll start off by maybe putting you on the spot a little.
Sure, yes.
As a non-finance person, I feel like finance is like a black and white movie that is running inside a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Has finance really kept pace with the times and with the evolution in other functions?
So look, I've been in finance now for 19 years, and the way I see finance is there have been one part of those traditional companies where probably finance is still playing a bit of an accounting sort of a role, bookkeeping, accounting, auditing.
Right.
Whereas a new age company, like for example, now I'm with ID Fresh, or even before that I was with Urban Ladder or Loop for that matter. I see that finance in these companies have modernized a lot, have changed a lot, have changed pace, have kept pace, have also earned that respect, right? Respect is something you cannot demand. You cannot say that, okay, respect me. Respect is something which you can command but cannot demand.
Yes.
And in the new age companies, I see that, finance commands a lot of respect because of the value add they bring beyond bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, secretarial compliances, etc.
Right.
There are these companies which are fully evolved. There are, some companies which are in that stage, and yes, you're right that there are some of those legacy companies where probably finance is a bit stuck and needs to evolve.
And what has been the catalyst for finance to have evolved in these, as you called it, the new age companies? What has been the change? Because it's still the very same pool of people that is sort of learning the same 3-4 things. But what has made them or what has forced them to evolve?
So again, there is, if you look at the newer leaders of finance,
right,
they come with a slightly evolved, upbringing, as well as during their educational, whatever they are educated in. Normally it is chartered accountancy, or sometimes they are cost accountants.
Right.
Or today's, if you see a lot of economics guys, are looking at finance.
Right.
So when it all depends on what your surrounding was when you grew up, and because of today's leaders being a little more from that evolved group.
Right.
I think that is one factor.
Does MBA play a role? Like finance plus MBA?
Finance plus MBA also plays a role.
Okay.
Second is the aspiration. I think it's also to somewhat to do with the belief. People, probably finance folks of 20 years, behind, used to think that, okay, we have to do just finance, and maybe we are made to do finance, and they are happy doing it. I mean, there is nothing right or wrong about it. Everyone has their own. Today's finance folks' aspirations are very different. I mean, I don't remember the statistics, but I read that X percentage of CEOs are, ex-finance or earlier finance guys.
So there's a CEO ambition as well.
There is a CEO ambition or a business ambition, or at least the ambition that I need to add more value. They have tended to believe that I cannot be just doing, routine stuff, though routine is the bread and butter, but I want to do more, I need to do more.
Right.
I want to be at par with everybody, else in the different functions.
Right.
So that has helped.
Okay. And often we talk about having a seat at the table. I interview a lot of HR leaders who say that sometimes they struggle to have that seat at the table for business decisions. Do you find that it's easier for finance to make that transition into business leadership as compared to other functions?
So again, it also depends on how much the finance leader has understood the business.
Yeah.
Once you understand business, actually you will be in their shoes and working with them.
Correct.
Again, like I said, they need to really think that they are not coming to you for some approvals required for budget and AOP. They need to really think that, yes, you understand the business as much as they understand. Also, what happens in finance, folks, if you see everybody, be it sales, marketing, HR, manufacturing, they are verticals, right? They understand their vertical very well. Where finance come into play, I feel, is finance has a very horizontal view.
Right.
They understand how manufacturing works, how sales works, how IT works, how HR works, and they somewhere are able to weave these goals together,
right,
to form a larger organizational perspective of where the organization wants to reach.
Okay.
Whereas each individual function probably has their own KRAs. I feel the finance leader has a KRA which weaves all of it together. They are answerable today to the shareholders, to the board, to the public market investors if it is a listed entity, to the analysts. And therefore, weaving everyone's goal together and coming to a common goal
Right.
is a role I feel today's finance leaders are playing already.
Okay.
And the other thing which they are able to do well is pricing the risk in. Sometimes if you look at individual functions, you may not be able to. I personally feel risk is something which you don't see, right? If you see it, you already know that it is a risk and everybody has prepared for it. For example, we got COVID a few years ago.
Yes. Nobody could have anticipated.
Nobody, because they did not see it. But when they saw that there is a accident possible, there is a malaria possible, there is a cholera possible, then they, you already have vaccines.
So how do you price the risk into? Like, what does a finance person do then?
So the finance, because they understand the expectations of starting from the board, shareholders, investors, the management team, and each of the functional leaders, and being able to weave it together.
Got it.
Other thing which I also have seen within the finance leader is they are able to weave optimism and pessimism also together. See, being eternally optimist sometimes is not possible and maybe not right. In today's finance leaders, what I see is they see, okay, the ultimate path is up and right. But I also know that between this path, there can be landmines, there can be potholes.
Yes.
And how do I navigate the entire organization so that ultimately we reach that optimism which all of us are looking for?
Right.
But I clearly price in the landmine that might be there in the path.
Correct.
That is how a finance leader prices in the risk.
Understood.
Right? There could be a pothole, there could be a,
But that pricing in the risk also requires a finance leader to obviously communicate that and communicate the reasoning, communicate the logic to maybe sometimes overly optimistic founders, overly optimistic executives or leadership team.
Yes.
Is that sometimes a challenge? Like how important is communication?
I think communication is extremely important. I would rather believe in over communicating and see, there are two ways to do. I can tell you to do like this, or I can explain you why you should or why we should be doing this, and let's do it like this.
Yeah.
And I am of the second type. I said, okay, I will not tell you or you please do this.
Right.
Right. I mean, even if sometimes I have the power, I believe power is equally like everything similar like money. The money, if you have money, the more you use it, the less you are left with.
Correct.
Power exactly works in the same way.
You shouldn't abuse it.
Not even abuse. I am saying you shouldn't even use it. No, I am saying you shouldn't even use it.
Okay.
The more you use it, the less you have it. You don't have to use power. You will, of course, have to have the power, but not use it.
Correct.
And that is when it works the best. Let's say I'm saying I'm in a position I can tell Srini do this.
Yeah.
Instead of that, I'll say, Srini, I think because of A, B, C, D reasons, we should do like this.
Right.
And if you're not convinced, let's not do it. I will try to convince you again with reasons.
Right.
That is when you are having the power, not using it, and then walking the path together with Srini.
Right. Exactly.
In my view, that works best.
One of the areas or one of the gaps that we often see in the industry for finance professionals is their adoption ability or ability to adopt technology. And when I say digital technologies, mainly like mobile analytics, data, and all of that. So you find that the other functions seem to be adopting HR tech, MarTech, sales tech. The product is anyway there. But finance is often, one is for themselves. And the thing is, are they really able to understand the other technologies that are being adopted so that they can even participate in that decision? For example, like you might just say that, okay, you want to spend 10 lakhs on a marketing automation tool. Sorry, I can't approve that. But what understanding do you have of what a marketing automation tool does and what efficiency it can give you? So what are some of those gaps, like skill gaps in terms of technological adoption that finance?
Yeah. See, I'll tell you, again, when a finance leader believes that I want to understand what the marketing is asking, and therefore I'll not just decide based on price. See, look, sometimes I feel that a good solution may be expensive, but a bad one can cost us a fortune.
Right.
I strongly believe that a good solution may be expensive, a bad solution can cost us a fortune.
Right.
And to be able to accept that, you really need to understand. Be it sometimes marketing automation is an example you gave, or an IT team, tech team can come that. So the more time you spend on the why of it, then the how is clear.
Correct.
If you straight away go to the how, no, this is 10 lakhs and I don't want to do.
Right.
Then.
But how will you evaluate? Like, for example, if a HR leader says, I want a HRMS system, right? So they might be able to give you a lot of justification as to why they need it.
Yes.
So how does a finance person, whoever it is that's taking the decision, how do they train themselves to ask those logical questions which will help them decide?
So being involved in the business is the first part to it. Once you're involved in the business, you really understand what is the need of the business. And not only, when I'm saying involved means you cannot be in your cabin and just understand. You have to be with them. You have to go with the sales team to the market, to maybe one day be on the field with the HR teams to understand how they are doing, what they are facing. You really need to empathize. So I think that is one superpower. I feel that seeing the world from another person's point of view is a superpower.
Right.
That gives you the power to empathize of what the other person is also saying. These are soft skills, right? They cannot be taught.
Exactly.
I think they cannot be taught, they are caught.
Yeah. From you, on behalf of all the finance professionals out there, some of them might be starting their career, some of them might be middle or late career professionals who might not have made the jump or the adoption like you have. What is the advice you would give them on how to modernize themselves and bring them to speed?
So I'll tell you, sometimes I see, or probably in the past, I felt that finance had a very microscopic view of things.
Right.
I'm not saying that's not required. I'm still saying, maybe it's required, but they should also have a binocular together. So to be able to use a microscope and a binocular together makes you really relevant, because there are folks in the organization who only has a binocular. There are folks in the organization who only has a microscope, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So if you are able to be that person who your leadership, your board, your management, your CEO believes that, look, he's having a binocular with a microscope.
Right.
Like I said, having an optimistic view, but thinking still that there could be a landmine in between. Right?
Got it.
That helps. Second is speed and direction. I think, as much as speed is important, you should be able to put the direction right. Let's say you have to go to MG Road and you know that you have to walk fast. But if you're walking on this side, you'll reach, Brunton Road and you'll go towards probably Brigade Road. So to align the entire organization in the direction or the right direction, where there is nothing right or wrong. There is a direction which the organization wants to reach. To be able to navigate all of them into that direction and then picking up speed. Right, I think is very, very critical, which the finance folks or the finance fraternity, we feel, can bring direction while the organization is running at pace.
Okay, understood. And I think probably this new generation of finance professionals are born in digital companies. So I think there is already a catalyst there.
Yes.
To start thinking around technology adoption.
If I see the kids of today, I mean, they are so much already into tech that they know better tech than probably you and me. So therefore, in whichever field they go, be it finance, HR, IT, manufacturing, everywhere, I think tech will be their first port of choice. And everyone has believed, also with the whole AI picking up so much. Right. In fact, yesterday we have designed a new packaging for our bread.
Okay.
And the design team said that, see, this has been actually designed by AI. All of us liked it. We approved it. They said it is, designed by AI.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So the finance folks are also picking it up, right? They're saying, see, an AI could design a pack, and if everyone has approved it. Till approving, of course, they didn't know that it is AI.
Right.
So
that's a great story.
There is a real story. I'm saying this happened yesterday. We presented a bread pack, and in the end, the design team said that this has been actually designed by AI.
So as a finance team, you know that there is value in investing in these kinds of things.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. On that note, I think it's a great note to end the conversation, but I think it was very insightful, Jaipal, and I hope that a lot of finance professionals out there across different experience levels are able to take these insights.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they already are. I feel that they already are. There, of course, is a bit of a transition and journey, but I feel, the median is moving towards this side of the line. And
so are you disagreeing with me that finance is a black and white movie playing?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm not, there is no slight disagreement. I'm saying I absolutely disagree.
Right. Great.
And
exactly. Right, let's disagree and commit, as you said.
Let's disagree and commit.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Srini. My pleasure. Absolutely a pleasure and honor to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.